Okay, so we're going to do a viola bridge for this viola. So what we're going to do is loosen these strings up, pop them off. Come on now. All right, so these fine tuners are not quite the right fine tuners for this tailpiece, and I'm just now discovering that. So what we're going to do, I'm going to take these off and I'm going to trim down this right here so that this string won't get stuck anymore. We're going to change it. So I'll be right back. Alright, so here we are, got the tailpiece off. These are the fine tuners. This is likely to be owned by a student and not a first chair in the orchestra or anything like that. Nevertheless, we will have it playing very nice by the time we're done with it. So right now I'm taking these fine tuners off. Just like that. There we are. One more. Alright, so normally I would do this off camera, but since I'm trying to make a nice video, I'm going to do this on camera for you guys. Alright, so I have a nice flat block here. And then we also have this just to keep the dust off my mat. Alright, little pencil lead. Let's put this guy back. And the end pin can go there. So I'm going to mark up this end here. That's just to make sure I'm bringing this down evenly. And also, we'll use this for measurement. Just under 5/30 seconds. Maybe bring it down to about less than 4. As you can see, the pencil lead is now gone. Turn it this way to make sure I keep sanding evenly. Let's take a look at you. Coming down pretty fast. I'm already almost to 4/30 seconds, or 2/16 or 1/8 of an inch. 1/8 of an inch should give us plenty of clearance for the ball end of the viola strings to not get caught up on the end of the tailpiece here. Almost. That's good there. So there's knocked off about a 64th off this thing. And then I also like to keep this ebony dust because it's good stuff. So it goes in my little ebony dust cup here. And because I like anything I sand to look nice and neat, I have 220 on the back. So you can see how rough it looks. Just a little bit on here should make it real nice. And there you are, it looks nice and smooth. And with that, we can reinstall our fine tuners and not have any issues, hopefully, the ball end getting caught. That should be plenty of clearance. Plenty. There we are. Oh yeah. Simple thing. Makes all the difference though when you're trying to change strings and you're beating your head against the wall trying to get this thing to stay correct. There we are. Our fine tuners go back in place. And there we are. Plenty of clearance now. Tighten this one up just a touch more. There it is. Alright, stay tuned, and when I come back, I'll make a bridge for this thing. Okay, we're just about ready to go. The first thing we're going to do here, put a little tacked, this tape, this is just masking tape. We're going to lay this 120 grit sandpaper on top of the Viola, and we don't want the bottom of it to scratch the top up. So a little de-tacked, or tacked, I guess is the right term. So I'm just hitting it on my shirt, make sure it's not too sticky so the tape doesn't also pull up anything from the top. That goes down there. So the bottom of this bridge, these two legs here, have got to match the contour of the curvature of the top of this Viola. And so how we're going to know is we're going to mark a little bit of pencil lead on the bottom like this. And then I also like to put an arrow, and this just makes me know, this just helps me know that the nut is this way. So when I sand it, it'll be like this. My scissors, please. All right, and on we go. Arrow forward. We are just sanding this until that pencil lead is gone. I'm going to make sure it's nice and flat. You don't want to carve or sand a contour or a forward or backward leaning. You don't want the bridge leaning forward or backwards. You want it to sit straight up. There it is. Didn't take too long, and then we're going to hit it with some 220 as well. And the 220 is just for the sake of accuracy. The 80 can be a bit, it is a rougher grit, and so you don't always get the most accurate contour on the bottom of those Viola bridge feet. So we're going to throw a little 220 to make it a little nicer, so it'll sit well. Once again, marking the bottom of the bridge. Arrow forward. And there it is. Looks nice and smooth. All right, let's see how it looks. Where'd you go? There you are. And so, as you can see, sits perfectly. Now, the next thing I like to do is I like to mark the radius. I just use a mechanical pencil here, and I hold the bridge and I let the mechanical pencil ride along the top of the fretboard, and that radius of that fretboard is going to be traced into the top of this new bridge, as you can see here. So that's the radius of your fretboard. So I'm going to bring it down with my sander, and then we'll do the rest after I come back. All right, so we're back, and I have so that radius line that I drew across the top, I've sanded it down to match that contour line, and then I've also thinned it from the front. So a violin bridge, viola bridge, bass bridge. The curvature, so the bridge is rounded from the front like this and flat across the back. So that's what's going on with that. So what we're going to do next is get these 80 grit sand paper, this 80 grit scratch marks out. So once again, I'm going to use my little cardboard paper here to keep the dust down. And then we're going to use a touch of 220. And because it's contoured, I'm not going to use a block or anything, or I might use a rubber. I might use like a rubber eraser block, something like that. But usually this right here will be just fine. Make it look nice and smooth. Looking good. Perfect. There you are. Looking very nice. After the 220, and then if you really want it to shine, you can hit it with a little 4/0 steel. And there you are. Looking good. This goes here. Next, we're going to put our strings back on. Oh, tailpiece first, and in pin first. Tailpiece through here. Just like that. Also going to clean up this fretboard just a little bit. A bit of polish as well. There we are. And then just a teeny tiny amount of gold linseed oil. This is just to keep the ebony from getting dried out and cracking over time. So we're going to rub it into the nuts, the board. And a little pencil lead. This is graphite, so graphite into the nut slot will allow the strings to not get bogged down and caught up in the tightness of the slot. C string, CGDA for viola tuning. And we're just going to have the strings loose for now. Alright, so strings are loose and sitting on top of the fretboard. We can now slide. Let's tighten this string up just a little bit. There you go. Don't need these strings tight yet. Just a little loose is perfect. And then what we could do, arrow forward, slide this up and into place. This back behind here, these are a little neat. So usually what I'll do is I will find a good spacing and then I'll measure. And then I need my nut files. This is for cut. These files are for cutting a guitar nut, but I also use them for this. Perfect. All right. I'm going to use a 40, I believe, here. Doesn't need to be a deep slot. Little slot and some pencil lead. Tighten it up. So another trick I like to do is once you have the strings in place where you want them, if you tighten them up just a little bit, it'll put a little divot in the top, which will allow your nut file to ride in the exact spot where you want it. Just like that. A little pencil lead as well. That one moved. Gotta find that one again. Just go. Just like that. Perfect. And then we're going to need a start. Perfect. Nice. Excellent action. Should be a breeze to play. Should feel very nice. And these are friction tuners, so when you tune them, first of all, the string has to wrap around itself at least once, and then as you tune these, you press in and then turn. Where's my? So we're going to use our tuner, a little snark tuner for this one. So it's a B. We're going to tune it up to a C. C, G. That one's in already. D. The other thing you want to do is make sure that the tuning process isn't pulling your bridge forward, because obviously all the string tension is pulling this way, so you don't want this to flop forward. That's a G, so up to A, pushing in and up. In and clockwise, I should say. C. Uh-oh. A little flat. Bump this one back now. Make this look a little neater here. These are the pre-existing strings. I'm not told to change the strings. They do look brand new, so. There we are. That one's a little flat. That one's flat too. There you are. Nice, beautiful action. All right, thank you. See you next time.